All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. This is Kay Kalthoff and we are on a Stampin' Chat with Kay. I'm really excited to have you here. Really excited in that I forgot to advertise this. Usually I jump onto Instagram the morning of a Facebook Live and I just put up a quick picture of what I'm doing. And I always feel like, well, maybe that'll help me get a couple of new people watching. However, I just spaced it today. I don't know why. I was just not thinking about it, I guess. And so then like 15 minutes ago, I realized I hadn't advertised. So I just jumped into my Happy Stampers Stamping to Share group and let everybody who's there know that I was doing this. And so thank you for joining me. It's great to have you. I'm doing 3 projects today. So you may want to get coffee. I don't know. You may have to come back and catch the replay because it could go a little bit long. Although I did pre-prep a few things, so maybe it'll be okay. We'll see. I'm going to start with a 3D, and then we're going to do a more simple stamping card, and then of course a card with coloring. And I've had such great feedback from the Stampin' Blend coloring videos that I've done in the past that you love seeing me actually color on the video. So that's what I'm doing. I'm coloring from start to finish on my Facebook Lives just to make you happy. And truly, it does help you learn a little bit about our Stampin' Blends. So thank you. Good morning. It's so nice to have you here. I have to tell you a little bit about accented blooms. This coordinates with our tailored tag punch. For those of you that have watched my videos, you know I have that tailored tag punch in about every other video. It's one of my favorite all-time punches from Stampin' Up! Because it fits so many different sentiments. And I also like it because it looks so awesome with guy cards. I mean, you don't want to go too curvy, swirly on a guy card. And so the tailored tag punch is just so clean and simple and crisp, and it's truly a favorite punch of mine. So of course, when this debuted in our 2018-19 annual catalog about a year ago, of course I had to get the accented blooms stamp set. Well then, like, everybody was getting it, and I saw so many pretty cards. I thought, oh, I can't compete with that. I have no idea what to do to make my card or my projects even match up to that. So there was a little bit of insecurity using the stamp set. But then I was recently up at our family cabin in Wisconsin, and I took that stamp set along, and I was determined to do something with it. Well then, once I got started, literally I could not stop using it. It's that much fun to use. So I'm excited for you to see the projects, and maybe if you have the stamp set, you'll be able to recreate some of them on your own. It's a fun stamp set. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera down. I'm going to show you some of the ribbon that I have wrapped up that will be in the shares. And then I'm going to show you a card I got in the mail, so pretty. And then we're going to get started. So give me a second here. All right, so we've got Seaside Spray, and I want to tell you how popular this color is. My daughter, who had no idea what the in colors were, she wanted a new phone case, and she picked this color exactly as her new phone case. So obviously that is a color that's trending right now, and this is called Seaside Spray. This one is Purple Posy, very light, and it coordinates beautifully with the Seaside Spray. I will give you a little FYI, Stampin' Up! Did have some issues with the ink on this particular one, so I don't think the ink will be available to order on June 4th when the catalog goes live. So you may want to be aware of that. Then we have Terracotta Tile, which truthfully does not quite turn my crank yet, but I've never been a super big orange person. I kind of like the cantaloupe color, but not like real orangey. Although, you know, I do use Calypso Coral quite often, and this is similar to Calypso Coral, and I'm sure in 2 years I'll get to love it. But again, it's probably my least favorite one. Then we have Rococo Rose, which, oh my gosh, this is probably my favorite because look at it. It looks like a rosy pink color that's had chocolate sprinkled over it to make it just a tad bit browner. So of course I love that. I hope I'm saying it right. Rococo Rose. I'm just not Sure, if that's the correct pronunciation, you know me. And then the last one is Pretty Peacock. And this is going to make a lot of my customers and downline happy because we were all so crazy about Tranquil Tide. Well, Pretty Peacock is just a richer, deeper color from Tranquil Tide. So yay for that. So these are 2 yards, and that's the in colors from, it'll be included in my ribbon share. So if you want to learn more about my shares, again, go to www.stampingtoshare.com. All right. The card I got in the mail is from my customer, Elaine Wheeler, and I was so pleased to get it because she gave me an idea with this card that I have never, ever thought of. And you're not even going to be able to see it in the camera unless I hold it up really close. But she did something so unique. She took the designer series paper, which is the Share What You Love designer series paper, and she ran it through her embossing machine with the, I don't know what it's called, the quilted folder or the tufted embossing folder. I'll bring it up. I hope you can see it. Oh, you know what? I don't even have one of my lights on. There. Maybe this helps. Or maybe not. It's very subtle. But she ran it through the Big Shot machine with an embossing folder, and it looks so cool in real life. I don't think it's picking up on the camera. But you know what? I'm going to give this a try. So in the future, you may expect me to be able to, I'm going to try something like this. I love that idea of embossing my designer series paper. I don't know why I've never thought of it. So I'm really grateful for Elaine for sending me this card. Thank you so much, Elaine. You're so sweet to send me so many beautiful cards and give me so many good ideas. All right, let's look at what we're using today. I mentioned it before. It's the Accented Bloom stamp set along with the tailored tag, my favorite punch from Stampin' Up. And what are we doing? The first thing we're going to do is this really awesome 3D tag. So it's not like the tag is really 3D, but you can put it on 3D things. You could also put it on a card or a scrapbook page. It's really pretty. And then we are also going to do 2 cards today. So in addition to this, we are going to create this pretty card. It's so fun and cute and easy because, like, hello, if you're going to fussy cut this, that you should not have to color. Your reward is to just have it look like this. And then there's this card. So this one, very plain and simple. However, it's beautifully colored, and I'll show you how to do that with our Stampin' Up! Stampin' Blends. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with this tag that we're going to create. And I have to tell you, these were the last 3 pieces that I had left in my, let me see what it's called, the Tropical Elements. These Tropical Elements are just beautiful. They're kind of like enameled or something. They're really gorgeous. And you put them on with glue dots onto anything that you're creating. And I used my last 3 to decorate this tag. So I don't have any more of those in my house. And trust me, I looked. I thought, you know, it's kind of like looking for coins under the car seat. I thought for sure I had more of these, but obviously I gave them away or did something with them because I could not. I looked everywhere, could not find them. Probably why I forgot to do the Instagram post this morning because I was so busy looking for these embellishments. I don't have them anymore. So what we're going to do instead is on the tag we're creating today, we're going to use the True Gentleman buttons, which kind of give the same look. It'll be just as pretty, I promise. All right, so what do we need to get started with that? Well, first of all, we have to have our supplies. Woohoo! We have 2 pieces of paper. That's all it takes. And we will need our, what is this called? The Crumb Cake Classic Weave Ribbon. You guys, this is being discontinued. Look at how pretty it is. Look at how gorgeous it lays and how beautifully it ties up a bow. So if you love ribbon and you love ribbon that's really easy to work with, very soft, it can be put in the mail very easily. This classic weave ribbon is gorgeous. I'm a little sad to see it go. I believe they're keeping the white, but they are not. Yeah, I think they're keeping the white. I better double check. I think they are. But they are getting rid of the crumb cake, sad to say. Okay, so what do we need to do here? Well, we need to do a little stamping. So you're going to start with a lovely lipstick piece of paper. This is 3 by 5 inches. Thank goodness I have cue cards here, because I would never remember this otherwise. Or I'd have to spend all this time, you know, figuring it out. I'm going to bring a piece of scrap in here because I may go over the edges a little bit. And we're going to set it up like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab Tuxedo Black. Now you could also use StazOn jet black ink. It doesn't really matter. But I wanted to eliminate a couple of things on my desk today. So I'm just going to use Tuxedo Black for all of our projects today. So we're just going to ink up this stamp. And you'll notice there's a hole in it. So there's a technique that you need to use when you're stamping with stamps that have a big hole. I will show you that technique right now, because if you press too hard, it's going to make like this weird, like, it's just not going to look good. So, not that you're really going to notice it because we're going to put a tag over the top of it, but when you're stamping with a hole in your stamp, we're just going to put it here, and you're going to press everywhere but the hole. Does that make sense? So you're going to press, and you want to press all your pressing at the same time. So I'm going to press down here and up here and give it a press. I am not pressing through the center where the hole is, because if you do that, you will get a smushy look. I think you all know what I mean. That's sort of like a really fat line where you don't want a fat line. All right, so we're going to pull this away, and it is perfect. I'm going to hold this up to the camera because I am so proud of it. Stamped perfectly. See? No fat lines. Isn't it beautiful? So pretty. All right, so then we're going to take our scrap paper right here, and we are going to grab some lovely lipstick ink. So I'm going to open that up, and this is an in color. I'm so going to miss it because we only have one more year with it. So if you love this color, but you haven't gotten it yet, I would get it now so you can have a whole year to play with it. I guess I'm talking to demonstrators because if you're a customer, you have the rest of your life to play with it. Just be sure you grab that ink refill at the same time. I always tell my customers to grab their ink refills at the very same time that they place their order for their ink pad. Then you don't ever have to worry about you just never have to worry about it. It's always there for you. You don't have to think, oh, did I get that or not? Because you'll know you have gotten it. So we inked up, always thinking of you, and we're just setting it onto our crumb cake. I'm giving it a little time to soak in. And then we're going to take our punch, which is the tailored tag punch. I'm going to center that in and give that a punch. And then all we have to do is add our dimensionals. So good to see all of you here. Good morning, good morning. Yes, I am so happy to see that you've shared already. If you share, I'll do the drawing. Well, it's not only if you share. If you share or make comments, I'll do a drawing on Monday morning. So you have a few days, so you can even share or comment on the replay and be in the drawing. And I don't know for sure what I'll give away. I'm kind of leaning towards giving away, when I give away this card, I'm leaning towards, and I'll probably just do it now that I've said it, whatever embellishments I have left of our tinted faceted buttons, I'll give that away with this card. And with this card, I will give away some ribbon. I don't know if it's going to be this exact color, but I'll give away 2 yards of in-color ribbon. And it might not be exactly this color because I'm not sure how much I have of this, but I know I have some in-color ribbon from last year that's also continuing into this year that I can give away. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on here. So I'm gonna move it a little closer to me so it might go out of the camera, but I wanna get it in there perfectly. And that looks pretty good. Press it down and, really, the tag's almost done. So we've got this little flower here in the corner, and we're gonna take this button from the True Gentleman button pack, and I just went ahead and in advance I added some twine This is actually our burlap ribbon, and I unraveled it and doubled it up and tied it into a bow right onto the button. No, actually I didn't. I just tied it into a bow and glue dotted the bow to the button, and then I added some glue dots to the back. We're just gonna set this in at an angle, and there we go, we have our tag done. So once you have a tag, you've got all kinds of possibilities. You could find yourself a pretty piece of paper, or a pretty bag. I think a craft bag is a good idea, because look how awesome this tag looks. Let me just fold this top down on a craft bag. So you could staple that on, or you could tie some ribbon around here and then hide the staple when you do staple it on, so it's not visible, but it's so much fun. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take 2 glue dots. So I don't want to put this on too intensely. So I'm just going to use 2 glue dots, 1 on each end. And then I'm going to use our, oh, what is this called again? I think it's called acetate card boxes from Stampin' Up. And there's 2 sides to it. So I consider this the back side where all the flaps go in. And then of course I just filled it with envelopes to have it nice and firm. But you would fill it with cards or whatever you want to gift. And then you're going to take your tag and you're just going to center it in here at the top. And those 2 glue dots are going to do a fine job of holding that on. Then take that beautiful ribbon that I was mentioning in the beginning. Just get yourself a bunch here. So I'm going to put this around and figure out about how much I need for a good bow. And then I'll just, so I look at this and I think, yeah, I need about that much to work with. So I'm holding it like this, right in the middle. See how I'm doing this? So I'm looking at one so I'm looking at one ribbon end here. Then I'm just gonna cut the other one to match. And then I know I have enough to make a nice bow. So let me do that. And then all it is a matter of tying this pretty ribbon onto your box. And now if I had my daughter here, she would be able to hold that down for me. But she's not here, so I'm going to do it really quick. That worked pretty good. Okay, see how beautifully that ties up? It's just gorgeous. Then, because I didn't have anyone putting their finger there holding it down for me, I wasn't able to make quite as tight of a wrap as I would have wanted to. And so if that happens to you, if you don't have anyone to kind of secure that for you, just take a glue dot and slip a glue dot under the knot of that bow, and you will be in good shape and it will stay down for you. That's what I do when my daughter's not home. Then you just trim up your little ends, and you have a beautiful, beautiful 3D item that you can give to someone with your beautiful cards in it. All right, so that was the first project. Now let's go on to our second project, which is this one. And let me grab all of the supplies that we need. Now, this is, let me see if I have it handy here. I'm looking very quickly as I can through my papers. Shoot. Okay, so I looked through quickly and I couldn't find it. It's probably there. I'm just looking too quickly. But this is our 6x6 in color pack from the 2018-2020 in colors. And so there's all the different colors like Pineapple Punch and Lovely Lipstick, and there's kind of an orange one, which is the one we're going to use. That is called Grapefruit Grove. Yay! I figured it out. I had to look behind me. All right, so the first thing that you're going to start with is your panel of good Lord. The first thing you're going to start with is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch panel of crumb cake, scored at 5 1/2. Oh, I need more coffee this morning. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ink and your stamp. Once again, we're going to use this one. And we're going to ink it up with black. Oh, you know what? I need to get I can't ink this straight on here. What am I thinking? I really need more coffee this morning. What we need is this panel. So this is the Grapefruit Grove 4 by 5 1/4, and it's 1/4 inch smaller than our card base. So it's going to go on like this. And this is why we are inking up our stamp, because we're going to stamp on this panel right here, our Grapefruit Grove panel. So get that nice and inky. And then, oddly enough, we are going to stamp this upside down. So I'm just setting it in here so that I'm about I don't know, maybe just about a 1/2 inch or so from the bottom and a 1/2 inch or so from the left side. And then again, give it a press. Don't press too firmly in here. This is a practice press. It doesn't really matter because if you swoosh it out, nobody's going to see it. But anyway, the whole idea is to stamp it upside down. There we go. It worked perfect. Yes, it's beautiful upside down. And yes, we are going to use this upside down. And the way we're going to use it upside down is we are going to be, well, just watch. You just have to watch to see what the next steps are. So we're not going to do any ribbon wraps or anything like that. So we can go ahead. I'm going to use some multi-purpose. No, I'm not. I don't have it ready. I'm going to use some Snail Adhesive. I always try to remember to get my glue ready before I start a Facebook Live, and I forgot to do that today. Among other things I forgot to do. I have my daughter home with me, so I was chit-chatting with her and doing my hair and not really thinking much about my Facebook Live, quite honestly, which is why I was forgetting a lot of things. Oh, look at this, you guys. Pretty, huh? Love when my nails match my projects. Okay, so here we go. We have it all down onto our card base. Then we're just going to take a scrap of Whisper White, and we're going to ink this up. And yes, just as if you're just joining us, yes, this is stamped upside down on purpose. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to ink this one up again. And we're going to stamp it on our scrap Whisper White. Again, to not get the smushy look, just make sure you're pressing everywhere but where the hole is in the stamp. Then when you lift it up, you have perfect images around that centerpiece. And then for all of you people that love to fussy cut, this is your shining moment in the sun. You are going to take your Stampin' Up! Paper snips and you are just going to fussy all the way around. And I am sure you are very grateful that I did that in advance. So here is my little fussy cut image right here. See? Took me probably 4 minutes maybe to do that. So just as an estimate for your time factor. I cut it out, and what we're going to do next is we're just going to take some snail. And we're going to put a little snail on these flowers up here so they don't wibble and wobble. And then we're going to set this in like this. And I think that looks good. So we're going to press it down. And isn't that cool, you guys? So you've got the upside down flower up here, but it doesn't look upside down anymore because we've covered up the fact that it might have looked upside down if we hadn't covered it up. And it looks so cool, doesn't it? Then we're going to take a piece of scrap that's in crumb cake, and we're going to stamp our sentiment, and we're going to use the same one, always thinking of you. But as you may remember, I have that inked up in lovely lipstick. And today I have my Simple Chamois handy. I keep it in a Stampin' Up! Case, and I'm just going to take that excess ink off. And now I'm ready to go. So let me grab my ink here. Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we're just going to stamp this right in the center, always thinking of you. And we're going to grab my very, very favorite punch, the tailored tag. And we're going to punch that out. There we go. And again, it's pretty simple. After this, all we have to do is simple as in simple if you can't, not so simple if you can't find your dimensionals. Oh, here we go. So now I can look at comments again. Somebody wants me to cut theirs. I don't think you know my personality very well. It was a struggle for me to cut this because I just really am not a big fan of cutting, fussy cutting. But I did it. I did it for you. All right. Oh, yes. A lot of you are not real big fans of fussy cutting. But I know some of you are. I know some of you do it while you watch movies or watch TV, whatever. So we're just going to set this in like so. And it's so pretty. Oh, hi, Linda. Linda's one of my downline. She just joined in. Welcome. Oh, goodness. You guys are great. All right, so we've got this on here, and all we have to do now is we're going to add that button, and we're going to add a little accent to the inside panel of the card. So we're going to leave it blank, but we want to do something to sort of carry the theme through to the inside of the card. So I have a strip of the 6x6 in color Grapefruit Grove paper cut down to 3/4 by 4 inches. And again, we're just going to, and you know what? I don't think it really matters if you use the stripe side or the dots. I don't know, I just decided to use the dots, so here they are. And then the last thing we're going to do is grab that tinted faceted button, and I went ahead and I took some Whisper White Baker's twine, tied onto a bow, and then I have some glue dots on the back. And we're just going to set this in right here on the corner, and our card is complete. So it looks just like this, and it's so fun and beautiful. So you could do this in all of the in colors and have some really pretty fun cards. And they're actually pretty quick outside of fussy cutting. All right, so now it's time to do the very last card of the day, which is right here. I love the sentiment. Big ways, small ways, love you always. I think it's so pretty. And then we're going to do a little fussy stuff here, even on the inside of the panel, inside of the card. So let me get my supplies. And yes, we are going to color, so you are in for the long haul today. I will color everything on this video. All right, so we're going to start with pumpkin pie. I use pumpkin pie 2 times a year pretty much. I use it in the fall for fall cards, and I use it in the summer for summer cards. Because when you pair pumpkin pie up with Melon Mambo or with lovely lipstick, it looks so gorgeously summery, almost like a popsicle. I always think of popsicles when I'm working with pumpkin pie and like Melon Mambo or lovely lipstick. So a great summer card coming your way right now. So we've got pumpkin pie at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then I've scored it at 5 1/2. So we're opening it up like this. And then I have, wherever it is, oh, for heaven's sakes, where did it go? Here we go. I have my Whisper White inside panel. Notice I marked it inside because we're using 2 different sizes of Whisper White. So our inside panel is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to show you how I stamp this because it's a little tricky. So what you want to do is line up, well, I'm assuming most of you either have grid paper or have some kind of a, I don't know what you'd call this, like a cutting surface that has grid lines on it. And these are spaced every 1/2 inch. So I'm lining it up with one of these, and I'm really focused on that 1/2 inch mark because the inside panel is going to have a 1/2 inch strip at the bottom. And I want to make sure that when I am stamping this image, because I'm going to stamp these right here, I want to make sure that the that little box shape does not get up too far into the card. So to do that, I'm going to grab some scrap again because there's going to be a lot stamped off. So let me put this up a little higher so you can see. And I'm just going to put the scrap up to that 1/2 inch line. There, everything's lined up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to ink our Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we don't need to ink the whole stamp. What we want are these flowers up here at the top. Then we're going to turn it. And we're going to make sure that this edge does not show up in our ½ inch, above the ½ inch mark. So I can stamp this about right here and feel pretty confident that my little edge here is not going to be in the picture once I've added this ½ inch strip at the bottom. There it is. Oh, it looks a little high. Let's see if it actually worked as I so predicted. Oh, it works perfectly. See? How fun is that? So then we're going to color that, but we'll color that later when we're coloring the other panel. So then the outside panel is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So we're just gonna stamp that. So again, you're going to ink up this really pretty accented bloom. It's the biggest stamp. And again, when you stamp it, you want to make sure you don't press where the hole is, otherwise you're going to get smushy edges. So we're going to bring this down and we're just going to stamp it. And the reason we're using the Tuxedo Memento Black is because it is compatible with our Stampin' blends. The StazOn Black would not be. So give that a second to adhere to the Whisper White panel. Lift it up, and there it is. Perfectly and beautifully stamped. Now, I'm just going to get all the stamping out of the way at one time. We've got a scrap of Whisper White, and we are going to use our lovely lipstick, and we're going to do the big ways, small ways, love you always. Stamp that right there. And then again, whoops, I have to have a cord up here today, so it adds a little more clutter to my desk, because when I went to get my iPad to set up today, I discovered I only had like 10% power. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna try to see a little bit of what you guys are seeing, I better get that plugged in. I was watching movies in bed last night. Do any of you guys do that? It bugs my husband. I don't watch movies when I'm in bed with him, but I always go to bed like an hour before he does, not to fall asleep, but to eat my snack and to watch movies. Oh my gosh. One of his big pet peeves is eating in bed, and that's like my favorite thing to do. It makes me feel like a princess. So when we got married, I kind of held off a little bit because it bugged him so much. But you know what? Once you've been married 20, almost 30 years, you know he's going to stay married to you. So I eat in bed every single night before I go to sleep. It's just my thing. All right. So I've got my little tag prepared, but I'm not going to take the peelies off. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do our coloring. So I'm going to grab all the things that I need to color here, along with my scrap, in case I go. Oh, I won't be going out of the lines. We're good. All right, so let's look at all this coloring we're going to do today. So we've got our blends. We've got Dark Daffodil Delight. We have the Old Olive combo, which is light and dark Old Olive. We have the Lovely Lipstick combo in light and dark. And we have the Pumpkin Pie combo in light and dark. So let's get rolling. I promise this won't take too long. So we're going to take the Daffodil Delight first, and I'm going to use the narrow end. And we're going to kind of fussy color the center of this flower here. And fussy color this center. And all of these little centers get fussy colored here. Even these little ones over here. Then, whoops, I didn't do a very good job there. Then we're going to take the brush end and we're going to color. We're just going to drop some color onto these bigger flowers up here. Just drop it on. Don't worry about where it ends. Just kind of layer it on. And of course, then the inside panel too needs a little drop of color on these flowers. And again, this is very fast and not fussy, which is the way I like to color. Fast and not fussy. The next thing we're going to do is take the light Old Olive. We're going to use the fine end for here because I don't want to go outside of the lines and mess it up. and it's a little fussy right in here. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. Anywhere that there's a leaf or a stem, you're going to do the light old olive. So yeah, so I should probably look up and see what's going on, because this takes a little bit of time. I'm trying to find all my little stems and everything. All right, so what's going on, you guys? Oh, you're laughing about my eating in bed. Well, that's good. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's always, I started it when I was in high school, actually. I used to read in bed. Well, I'd come home from school, and after I got my chores done, my mother never allowed me near a stove, so I never helped with cooking. I was so hungry after doing pig chores, you can imagine. I would, and I love to read, so I'd run upstairs to my room, grab a book, and I'd read. And then, of course, I'd have to have a snack because I was hungry. And every time I did that, I always felt so spoiled rotten, and it always made me feel so like luxurious, like a queen, like, you know, who gets to eat in bed. Now we're going to take the dark old olive and take the fine end. So that all started in high school and continued through college. And then I kind of briefly quit it when Steve and I got married, because he found it extremely annoying to crawl into bed and find cracker crumbs and chip crumbs and that kind of thing. Now I am very conscious. I'm just going through and doing the little leaf lines, in case you're wondering, with the darker old olive. But now I'm very careful when I do eat in bed. I try to brush those crumbs off the bed before he gets there, if I make any crumbs. But I've gotten pretty good at not making crumbs. All right, so now we're going to take the light, lovely lipstick, and we're going to color in. And I'm using the brush end just because I want to be fast. We're going to color in these little guys here. So I'm doing it. Oh dear, I should have really used the other end. You know, that's what happens with videos. You hate to sit and spend too much time coloring because you're afraid everybody's going to leave you, and you're going to look up and have 0 people watching your video. So I am going to just slow it down here a second so I can do a good job, because this is a card that's going to one of my winners. I'm sure you want me to do a good job. So I'm taking the tiny end and trying to do a good job here. All right, I did it. So that's all you need for the light, lovely lipstick. Then you're going to take the dark, lovely lipstick, and I'm just going to go through and kind of color just a little accent right here, just to brighten up the center of those flowers. And then over here, we're not going to color these at all. We're just going to put little accents in. See how easy that is? So leave those flowers white and just draw in your accents like this. And the same down here. So you barely touch your pen to the flower and you have it done. Just like that. All right, done with that. Okay, now there's only one combination set. Oh, did I forget? Nope, I didn't forget anything. We're going to take our actually this is a combo pack of pumpkin pie. So we're going to take the light, and we're only going to do the light, and I'm going to try to use the brush end carefully on these sort of inner petals here. Anything that touches that yellow section is going to have the light pumpkin pie. So I'm just going to go around and do the light pumpkin pie. All right, done. Then you're going to take the dark pumpkin pie and all of the rest of it. Well, you know what? I take that back. I'm looking at my thing now, and I'm also going to take the light pumpkin pie. I'm going to go around the bottom of these flowers. So we're doing the light on the bottom, just like that. So I'll do that over here too. We want to get a lot of pretty color on here. And you know what? I have to grab my light green because I forgot to do the stems. There we go. Not that they'll really show up that much, but you know what? Might as well do a good job, right? Then we're going to take the dark pumpkin pie and we're going to just go through the center here. And that just looks so pretty. We'll do the same thing here. And you know, there is a little bit of drying time involved. When you're doing it, it almost sort of feels like it's not going to be that pretty. I've always noticed that with Stampin' Blends. When I first do it, I think, oh, well, I don't know, did that really turn out? And then I'll look at it like 2 minutes later and think, oh yeah, that turned out. So just be patient with your Stampin' Blends. Then take this more fine tip end, and again, we're going to color in these edges here. We're going to add some accents to the part that we already colored, and then just color in anything that wasn't colored. And again, I'm getting a little impatient, so I'll try to slow down a little bit. It's hard to color and read comments, so I know I'm not doing a very good job that way. But this is all at your request. You guys have been requesting that I actually color on camera, so I am. So it takes extreme concentration. For me. I don't know that that would be you. All right, then I'm just again gonna bring out the center of this flower with my dark pumpkin pie. And then because I kind of messed up in there, I sort of got some pumpkin pie in the center. I'm just going to take my Dark Daffodil Delight again, just kind of rub that out. So I'm just going to add some more Dark Daffodil Delight to that center. I don't know, I might have done light to begin with, but I'm going to add dark. And again, it'll look better once it's dry, just trust me. And I think we're good here. So let's go ahead now and finish this card up. So we've got a 1/2 inch strip. I say it's 5 1/4, and it is, but just ignore that. Just do a 1/2 inch strip. And then you're gonna add some snail to the back. And then you're gonna set this right here at the bottom. So just make it even. And it is gonna protrude out from the edge, and that's fine, because then you can flip it over, take your paper snips and trim it even. And then you have a perfectly trimmed edge. So this is the inside panel of our card, nothing to it. Then we're gonna take the snail again and put this right here. And the inside panel is done and beautiful. Then we're gonna take the outside panel and we're going to layer that up. So we're going to layer that into a 3/16 inch border. So it's going to be 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And we're just going to use some snail. And a trick for doing a really skinny border like that is the way you hoover it over the top of your panel. So we're going to hoover it with thumbs in each corner. Then you can kind of just get over the top of it, and as long as this corner and this corner look good and you've cut straight, then everything should be a nice border all the way around. Then we will, we're going to do one more thing here. Notice how we have this cute little ribbon here. So we are going to take that ribbon, which looks like this. It's our 1/8 inch grosgrain ribbon. Do you guys know when I first started stamping, and even when I first started doing videos, you know how I can't pronounce anything? I called this, well, I know if you're a sewer, you're going to think that this is crazy. But for years, I said gross grain. I said gross grain ribbon over and over so many times. And I didn't realize it, but people were trying to correct me, and I didn't understand what they were trying to say, why I was saying it wrong. Then finally, I had a wonderful downline member who noticed I was saying gross grain, and she is a good what you call it. She's just got a good grasp of all things related to materials and fabrics. She set me straight. So I've said grosgrain ever since. And you know what? I am just going to jump up real quick and grab my Scotch tape. Because it's just so easy to tape this down versus trying to do anything else with it, because it's perfect. It looks so good. So I'm just going to set my tape on here. And now it'll look perfect forever. All right, so then we're going to take these little peelies off of our punch out that we prepped in advance. Oh, I'm getting warm. My fingernails have changed to white. That's another thing I love to do. I love to have gel polish that changes with my mood. I can see whether I'm really hot to the core or if it's kind of cool and I need to turn the fireplace on. So here we go. We are going to take this now and put it on our card. And again, we'll just use some snail, or you could use multi-purpose liquid glue. Guys, isn't it beautiful? Oh, I think this is one of my favorite cards that I've ever made. All right, so there it goes. Just like that. So incredibly pretty. That's all there is to it. All this white space just adds glorious, just causes your eyes to kind of go into the card and just really focus on those beautiful summery looking flowers. All right, so let's get this all spread out, everything that we've done. Here's the original cards. And here are some other cards that I made today. I hope I'm getting it all in the picture for you. And I'm not going to take both of these in, but we also created this really cute box. So let me arrange this a little bit. All right, so let me review everything. If you'd like to be the recipient of this card and this card, all you have to do is comment on this video or maybe share it on your timeline. I will have a little card in the mail for you next week along with a little prize. So thank you so much for supporting Stamping to Share. I truly appreciate it. If you want to get in on the 2019-2020 catalog product shares, just visit my blog at www.stampintoshare.com.